This is Hannibal here from thehannibaltv.com, and we have WWE Hall of Famer and the leader of the Four Horsemen, James J Dillon, here with us today. He did a full career interview with us back in October that you can see for free on our channel if you want to check it out.
Oh, for free? Oh, okay, great.
If they want to sit through 3 hours of your wealth of knowledge.
Was it that long? Boy, sometimes you ask me a question, and they used to say that Nick Bockwinkel, if you ever asked him what time it was, he would have to explain how the watch mechanism works before he would tell you what time it was. And I think I have the same problem. I get asked a question, and the answers become long-winded.
Now, you're of course a member of the WWE Hall of Fame, but you're also a member of this Hall of Fame. You received the prestigious Lou Thesz Award here a couple of years ago. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that award and what it means to you?
Well, it's given annually to someone who had some degree of success in the wrestling profession, but who has also used their notoriety of the persona outside of the wrestling profession. In other words, volunteering for other things. And I just, a couple weeks ago, went up to Asheville, North Carolina, where they have a program, Headlock for Hunger, and it's not only wrestling people, it's other athletes from other sports that get involved in fundraising things, and they help feed the homeless or people who have fallen on hard times. And I was up there in Asheville for 2 days, so along with Beth Phoenix, who lives up there. So it's a good feeling to know that the people who supported me throughout my entire career, it's a way of saying thank you and giving something back to them.
Now, I had someone ask me the other day about Lou Thesz and exactly who he was. I know you could go on about him probably for a full 3 hours, but for someone that doesn't know who Lou Thesz is, could you just give us a brief explanation of his accomplishments?
Well, he was the NWA champion going back a few generations ago, and Lou Thesz actually held the title for like 25 straight years, and held it over 4 decades at one point, where not 4 full, maybe the end of 1 decade, the whole next decade, and then part of the next, at least 3 decades. And he just was someone who I had the pleasure of meeting. I never wrestled Lou Thesz. The closest I came was I was wrestling full-time in West Texas and had a feud going with Dick Murdoch, and they say, which I find it hard to believe, that I was abusive of some of the referees, and people took exception that I took liberties with and then tried to intimidate the referees. And they said, hey, we need to put a stop to this. And they did so by bringing Lou Thesz in as a special referee for one of my big matches in Amarillo. So actually the first time that I ever met Lou, because they have separate dressing rooms, and I didn't see him until I actually got in the ring, and he was the third man giving instructions. And Lou Thesz, and I wanted to hug him and show him the respect that I had for him. But here I am, a guy with attitude in West Texas, and so I couldn't be as forthcoming as I would like to have been. And then got to see Lou later. He lives in the Norfolk area, and we had a pay-per-view there, and he came by to say hello to everybody, and so I got a chance to talk to him on a personal level. And then the Lou Thesz Award is given every year here as part of the celebration. And Charlie Thesz, Lou's widow, she has a big say in who receives the award. And 2 years ago, I received it. She personally presented it to me, and I have it on my wall at home, and just the fact that it has Lou Thesz's name on it means a lot to me.
Now, I know you worked with Owen Hart when you were working in talent relations for WWE, and you probably knew him pretty well. What do you think about him receiving an award and being inducted into this Wrestling Hall of Fame this year?
Well, I think first of all, he is certainly deserving, and I'm glad. There's always names. It's like the Baseball Hall of Fame. You look at guys and think, boy, it's not going to be right till so and so gets in or so and so gets in. And I feel the same way about the Wrestling Hall of Fame. There's a couple names like Ray Stevens, there'll never be in me everything that it could be till somebody like Ray Stevens gets inducted. But Owen Hart certainly is deserving. The Hart family are one of the dynasties in professional wrestling, and he's certainly deserving.
And finally, Bruiser Brody, one of my all-time favorites, is receiving the Frank Gotch Award this year. Do you have any comments on that? I know you knew him.
Yeah, I did. When I first went to Australia in 1979, he'd had a fantastic run there for almost a year, and I went in with the late Brute Bernard, who I was managing at the time. So we overlapped each other by a couple of weeks, and so I got a chance to be around him, Bruiser, and also later on in Texas. Actually, I wrestled him a few times where I was in the ring with him, and he was very intimidating, very physical, and just one of the legends that you know the story of his death is a tragic story, and his widow is here, Barbara, and we've become friends over the years, and just he's one of those treasured names.
Now, to close this off, I believe you still have a podcast going. You have a book, Wrestlers Are Like Seagulls. Do you want to tell us a little bit about how people can follow you and where they can buy some of your merchandise?
Well, I have a website, and it's if you do a search, I'm not that good with computers, but you can go on there, and I have a website, and I do a show every week called the JJ Dillon Show that's on the MLW network, and it's available through the mail. You can order it through the mail, and I sign them for free if you order it. And when I come to personal appearances, I try to put a few of them in my bag so people can get it again for the same price. They don't have to pay for shipping, and they can request how they want it signed, and actually watch me sign it and take a signed copy with them. But this was published in 2005. It's my life story. And Scott Teal and a young man named Philip Varial, who's from upstate New York, who knew more about my career than I think I knew myself. But Scott Teal, over a period of a year, we would do phone conversations, and it was chronological of my whole history of how I started as a fan through the year 2005 when this book was finally published. And he broke it down into chapters and would send them to me, and I would go through and make sure that what he heard was what I said, and sometimes I'd have to add a little bit, but the end result was really a great book that Scott Teal edited, and it really is it's my life story, and it's available through my website. And when I go to personal appearances like this, I always try to stick a few of them in my bag, which I sign for people, and just very proud of it's my life story, but nobody could have told it any better than Scott Teal. He has a gift for doing this thing.
And I read it, and it's a great book, and a lot of people are probably not going to be able to guess just how wrestlers are like seagulls until they read it.
Yeah, that's one of the mysteries that I tell them, well, the answer is in there, and I used to remember what page it's on, and said, if you want to know the answer, and the subtext of from McMahon to McMahon will give you a hint of what it is, and it has to do with a comment that was made to one in the McMahon family, which would obviously most likely be the father to Vince Jr. And the answer is in there, and if you get the book, it's my whole life story, told, like I say, by Scott Teal, and it's also a history of professional wrestling, of how the business is structured, and why it's successful, and how it makes money, and it's a history book as well. So I'm very proud of. I've been asked, "Are you going to do another book?" And so much love and effort went into this one. I don't know if I have the energy to do another one, but the first 3,000 copies were hardbound books, and now if you go onto eBay and look, there's people that are in market reselling them, and they're into between $200 and $300. I should have bought a bunch of them, I guess, but I'm just happy that it's out there, and it's been reprinted several times in soft cover. And Anybody that buys the book, I have a standing guarantee. You buy the book, you spend 25 bucks, and after you've read it, if you don't like it, come back and I'll buy it back from you for 25 bucks. And I've never had anybody take me up on it.
And I'm sure you won't. Now, I know you have a lot of fans waiting for you, so we wish you best of luck and enjoyable rest of your time here in Iowa.
Thank you, and glad that Hannibal TV could be there and share this weekend with us.